I've been using my Profoto B1s all over the world for years. In that time, the combination of power in a compact package has helped me use flash on locations I'd never been able to light before. Profoto called me up with a challenge while I was in Iceland. We want you to test a new product, they said, and really put it through its paces. You decide the location, you decide the story, and we will come along to document. I chose Mallorca and deep water soloing. Climbing is where I got my start as a photographer, so I thought it would be really fitting to revisit my past for this project, but look at it from a fresh perspective. All I needed was a couple awesome pro climbers, Edu Marin and Lindsay Chin, a skilled assistant, and my photo gear. But then, a week before the shoot, this happened. I took a nasty fall with a heavy pack on a glacier and broke my ankle. For a while, it was touch and go as to whether or not I should continue on. It didn't stop me from shooting there, it won't stop me from shooting here. We're starting today at the Diablo Wall. It's the birthplace of deepwater soloing, which means climbing above the ocean with no ropes. If you fall, you're going in the water. It's a windy day, it's bright out, and the wall's a little wet. The conditions aren't perfect, but we're gonna do our best to make some awesome images. So while the climbers and my assistant are prepping the climbs for the day, I'm going to prepare my photo kit. So if the wind and waves aren't testing us enough today, I've been challenged to shoot all of our shots for the day with just the gear in front of me. And what I have for lighting is the B1X location kit. I have 2 B1X heads and 2 batteries. I also have these awesome new OCF reflectors. These are the first reflectors designed for on-location photography. This is the OCF zoom reflector, which gives you an additional stop of light. And this one over here is the Magnum reflector. It gives you 2 additional stops of light, which is awesome, especially on a bright day like today. Using the high-speed syncs, we can overpower the sun and get extra focus and light on our subject. I'm just gonna go out on the line and get a look at everything. We're in a location that's been photographed quite a bit, but I'm confident that we're gonna get to some places that are unique. We're gonna get out away from the wall, out over the ground, in some caves. Let's hope that the B1X can keep up. With everything in place, things get off to the worst possible start. Edu! Can I have that cameraman? Just as the film crew was setting up to shoot the very first shot, I get Edu to hand me my camera, and this happens. Oh! Dude! In American football, we'd call this a serious fumble. It's gone, man. It's now making its way to the bottom of the ocean, so I have to get over it and move on quickly. A few deep breaths later, and I get a firm hold of my backup DSLR that I'll be using for the rest of the day's shoot. So Blake, if you could drop the rope from the point right there, and then you're gonna come straight down, that's perfect. And the light will be out and directly overhead. The sun will act as a fill, and then the B1X overhead will be our key light. My aim here is to really make the climber stand out from the wall by spotlighting him with the flash while darkening down the ambient daylight from the sun. To do this, I'm using the HSS function on the B1X to get a really fast shutter speed of 1/2500th of a second. That fast shutter speed allows me to knock down the sunlight that's hitting the cliff, and then by setting the B1X to the maximum power and using the OCF zoom reflector for an extra stop of light, I can overpower the sun. Ow! So we've come 30 minutes down the road to my favorite place in Mallorca to shoot climbing, a small beach called Cala Sanau. It's really windy, and the wind means the wall is probably a little wet, and it also means that it's gonna be kind of dangerous if the climbers fall in the water. We're just assessing the situation right now. It very well could be that we're not gonna be able to climb at all this afternoon. I'm gonna rappel down right now with the climbers and take a look at the conditions and see what's possible. Although the conditions aren't ideal, the climbers are psyched. For this first shot, I'm rappelling down the wall to get as close to Adu as possible. Then, I'll Jumar up or down to fine-tune the perfect angle. My assistant is hanging on the other side of the cave with the B1X and the OCF Magnum reflector to get 2 extra stops of power to help me overcome this bright ambient light. I'm using a really wide 14mm focal length so I can get as close to the action as possible, but still capture that sense of environment. The color and texture of the rock and the rough sea are vital in making this image come alive. I'm using the B1X to mimic the sun and produce a natural looking highlight on Adu's face and body. We just finished up our shot with Adu at Cala Sanau, and now we're going to move down the coastline and work with Lindsay in this other beautiful alcove. It's going to be awesome. Getting around on one leg hasn't been easy, but it also hasn't hindered me so far. I'll take my camera over here with the transmitter, and then if you could get in the cave. But this cave might challenge that. I'm going to start safe and shoot Lindsay from this ledge. My assistant, on the other hand, is going to go deeper inside the cave so I can get a rim light around her. I'm going to put the flash in a place that light doesn't usually go. Ow! With that shot in the bag, I'm moving a bit closer, which is easier said than done. I want Lindsay to climb this overhanging face, and I'm lighting her by moving my assistant with the B1X above her. Shooting on location with professional athletes is always an exciting opportunity. I want to push them out of their comfort zones to capture that raw emotion, but sometimes I push a little too far. And that's what happened here. Lindsay's as tough as they come, and before I even have a chance to think about whether or not she's okay or too cold to carry on, she climbs back into position. I get my shot, and it's my favorite one of the day so far. I think all photographers are similar. We are always thinking about the shot that got away. So I knew that if we had time, I wanted to come back here and shoot from inside the cave. Can you give me a slightly wider beam so not quite as focused? It's too focused right now. The sun is setting, so we better get after it. The conditions got perfect just now. The clouds are rolling in, and it makes this scene seem threatening. The lower ambient light also means I can use the flash to light up Adu and the cave to get more areas of light and shadow to add more contrast and drama. I don't want to overpower this scene with flash, so I've set the B1X to a low power setting, which I can do now thanks to the 9-stop expanded HSS range. Yeah, nice. Cool. We shot from underneath the cave to on top of the wall. My body feels beat up. We lost some gear, but the B1X took all the hits I could give it, and it's still ticking. I'm psyched. Yeah, it was a great day. Wow.